Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another discussion video. Now, this news, ironically, is hot off the heels of Channel 4's 40th anniversary. I think they announced this either on the day or just after, but Channel 4 have dropped some news that is very interesting and has left a lot of people sort of, I guess, divided on what they're going to do here. Before I start, massive shout out to viewer John King, who was the first one to alert me about this, much appreciated. So the news as stands, I've got an article here from the Radio Times, but there's several different sources that are covering this, which says Channel 4 to rebrand all 4-player as simply Channel 4. Now, it actually goes much deeper than that, but let's have a little elaboration here. Channel 4 has decided to rebrand its video-on-demand player All 4 as simply Channel 4. The UK public service broadcaster, which celebrates its 40th birthday today, the 2nd of November, was previously known as 4OD, but was renamed All 4 in 2015. I swear there's like tons of people who still call it 4OD from back in the day, which is really cute. The new rebranding, which will begin from spring 2023, is to, quote-unquote, help audiences better navigate the abundance of choice in the digital world and find their favourite Channel 4 shows wherever and whenever they choose to watch content. This is what Channel 4 explained in a statement. So they're sort of saying they're marking it to try and streamline the brand, I suppose, like the Channel 4 brand, as it were, because like brands are a big thing now in terms of like what's the recognizability. You know, people recognize Netflix, Disney Plus, a lot of those streaming services, and whilst people, I'd argue, especially in the UK, recognize Channel 4, I guess the more you divulge the name, you know, you've got a different name for your streaming service, All 4, and your different channels. I guess maybe it splits it a bit. It goes on to say, the Channel 4 statement, All 4 will change to just Channel 4 as Channel 4 becomes the first UK broadcaster to adopt one brand identity across its digital and linear channels, as audiences increasingly no longer distinguish between digital and linear content. It continued that Channel 4's entire portfolio of channels will also align with the Channel 4 brand. Now, I think this is the move that has got many people confused and some people divided or criticizing this move. So by that statement, implying, you know, it's saying it's going to adopt one brand identity across all digital and linear channels, and this means its entire portfolio will also align with the Channel 4 brand. What does this mean for the TV channels? Because, you know, you've obviously got the main Channel 4, the original, then you've got things like E4, you've got Film 4, you've got More 4, 4/7. So are they all just going to become Channel 4? I mean, if that is the simple case, if they're all just going to be called Channel 4, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Like, yeah, people say they don't differentiate between digital and linear content, but surely they've got to have different names if they're showcasing different. If they're all showing the same stuff, that would make sense, but they're not. I believe they all show different things. So I don't know how they're going to differentiate that, or is it going to be a case of, say, for example, is E4 going to become Channel 4 E4? Is Film 4 going to become Channel 4 Film 4? Do you know what I mean? It implies that the Channel 4 brand, or like the Channel 4 name, will be involved now with every Channel 4 channel, I suppose. But again, especially with the TV channels, All 4, I get it, you know, you're making your streaming service the same name. I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm more on board with that one. But honestly, these TV channels, I don't know what they're going to do. If they just simply name them all Channel 4, how the hell is that going to work? Zaid Al-Kwazab, Chief Marketing Officer at Channel 4, said, as Channel 4 turns 40, we're responding to the challenge of an increasingly crowded content market by using our most powerful asset, the Channel 4 brand. He added, the creation of a singular brand vision will better serve our viewers and help future-proof the channel to make sure we're able to continue to take creative risks for the next 40 years. We want to become the viewer's North Star in the digital world, a valued curator to help them navigate to a destination full of entertaining and thoughtful content they know they can trust. Well, I've got to say, this decision on the whole is very Channel 4, you know, taking risks, doing something that no one's done. Again, they point out that this is the first UK broadcaster to adapt one single brand identity across all of its digital and linear platforms, because, you know, the BBC has different names for its channels, and obviously the iPlayer, and then ITV currently is numbered, or will go back to numbers, and has ITVX, so, you know, it's not all one name, but Channel 4's aiming to do that. Just looking at what he said there, I mean, he's saying it's to future-proof the channel, the singular brand will help serve the viewers. I guess, yeah, it may make Channel 4 more recognisable, but that whole thing about viewers disparaging between digital and linear content, I've always personally viewed the channels, as their own thing, called them by their own name, but I can totally see, because a lot of people look at the various ITV channels, 2, 3, 4, but just call it ITV, same with the BBC, so I guess why wouldn't they do the same for Channel 4? And it's interesting how he says the most powerful asset Channel 4 has is the brand itself, which I guess makes sense. When you've been around a long time, 40 years, people recognize you. I mean, the Channel 4 logo is one of the most iconic in British, I would argue, maybe even worldwide television. It's remained the same for 40 years. It's iconic. The fact it's placed within British TV is iconic. We already sort of touched on that in a video I did looking at 40 years of Channel 4, so you can check that out as well. The article continues saying the brand transformation comes as Channel 4 faces an uncertain future, with new UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak having pledged to push ahead with the privatisation of the service, a move set in motion by former Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries back in April. Yeah, so for anyone who didn't know, Nadine Dorries, who was the Culture Secretary under Boris Johnson, basically was pushing for Channel 4 to become privatised, to be sold off. Her reasoning, in an old tweet she did back in April, was apparently by not privatising Channel 4, it was somehow holding it against streaming giants, like it couldn't compete with Netflix and Amazon. And I have always personally maintained, and a lot of people have maintained this, I think Channel 4 in this landscape doesn't need to compete with Netflix and Amazon. It's very much a hub of UK-centered content, a lot of content made by like independent UK production companies, giving a lot of them their start and stuff. And I know before she left, Nadine tried to phrase it as, oh, well, they'll still have the opportunity with bigger budgets and stuff. But I think the minute you privatize and sell it to someone, someone's going to buy Channel 4, you've got outside influences, you don't know how it's going to mess with their remit and stuff. So, and generally in the media industry, amongst a lot of the public, a lot of people were against the privatization. And when Nadine left, it was very much thought that her replacement, Michelle Donnellan, kicked the deal into the long grass, as it were. But it seems that the new Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, wants to push ahead. So, yeah, who knows where that's going to go. So I guess in the face of that uncertain future, it makes some sort of sense for Channel 4 to go under one brand for the, if it eventually does get sold, at least you're selling it with one brand. The buyer doesn't have to deal with, several million different names under the brand to deal with, I suppose. But I just think it's a very interesting move. Like, again, a lot of people seem very divided on this. Again, I think people are more interested in seeing how this will affect, like, I think more the TV channels again, like E4, Film 4, More 4, 4/7. Like, how are they going to be rebranded? How are they going to be renamed? Are they all just going to be called Channel 4? I'd like to think not, but it's really up in the air. As they say, and this isn't going to come into effect until sometime in spring 2023. So we're still a few months away from seeing the differences. And I believe Channel 4 has also commissioned new idents that will air in 2023 as well. Which, the giant as he was, he's been in place since, I think, is it 2017 he's been in place? He's garnered a lot of love from the public. It's a very sweet ident, often very cute sequences and stuff. But, they always cycle around. 6 years, I'd say it's time for a change maybe. But I wonder what they'll adapt. Are they going to go for another character-based one like the giant? Are they going to go for something a lot more simple, which again literally just focuses on the 4
It's all just
numeral.
funny, isn't it?
Because in 2022 it seems like we're getting a lot of change in the UK TV landscape, especially in linear television. I mean, ITV is going back to being called ITV1 after nearly a decade of abandoning that. Now we've got Channel 4 rebranding everything to Channel 4. But again, I just personally, I mean, I'm not a marketing expert. I don't work in that sort of field, but I just wonder how this is going to come across. I mean, how can you call everything under one brand name when you've got several channels, unless you literally go down to one channel and condense all that content? But I don't think they'll do that, because how on earth do you condense several channels worth of content into just one channel? It seems illogical. And why would they want to do that? Multiple channels means multiple revenue streams. Yes, I know it's more of a cost for them to run, but it's like, the BBC. They've got BBC's 1 to 4 on the telly, and they've got the iPlayer, they've got several radio stations. But imagine on the telly, like, if you amalgamated all 4 of those channels' content into one, as if, we're living back in the 1950s again. How on earth do you manage that? And if all the 4 channels were just called the BBC, again, I'm not sure how this is going to play out. But, these are people who are trained in this specific field. They'll have done the market research, as it were. They'll have analysed this, tried to, as they say, future-proof Channel 4's existence going forward. So, fingers crossed this all works out. But yes, I'm very curious to see next spring how this works. But yeah, that's it really. Again, bit of a short one, but I'd be curious to know, what are your thoughts on this news that Channel 4 is literally rebranding not just all 4, not just the digital player, but apparently all of its digital and linear channels in its portfolio to the Channel 4 brand. I mean, what do you think this means? Do you think everything is literally going to be named Channel 4? How do you think it's going to affect the TV channels? Let me know in those comments, and let me know if you think this is a good move or a move they should probably have avoided. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. We'd really do appreciate it. And if you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, Tobos Krotz, and Polsky Liz, our AMTV staff members.